Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Swung on and hit in the air to deep left center. Heading for the high wall. It is off the top of the wall. He didn't miss a grand slam by all that much.
Ground ball, grabbed there nicely by Torres. Loses his balance, gets the throw off.
Driven to center, right at Judge. He'll make the catch. It's 3-2 Guardians.
Today is April 10th, 2023, and it's the 10th game of the season already as the Yankees continue their road trip to the rock and roll capital of the world. It's Yankees versus Guardians in Cleveland, a rematch of the 2022 ALDS. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Raleigh getting things started off, says, typical Boone stinker lineup. I'm not going to fight you on that one. Welcome back, everybody. Tough one for the Yanks tonight, just 4 hits, but they did walk 9 Guardians batters, and they blew a 2-0 lead. Last night we talked about how the Yankees have won their first 3 series of the season, and any baseball player or manager will tell you that the way they view things is you try and win every series. Their goal is to win every series, 2 out of 3 typically. And at the end of the season, you just figure that if you keep winning series, the record will take care of itself, and your standing in terms of home field advantage will take care of itself and all that nonsense. But the way this series is shaping up, this was an important game. You wanted to win the first game of this series. You figure with Garrett Cole on the mound tomorrow, the Yankees should have an advantage. But with Clark Schmidt on the mound in Game 3 on Wednesday, the Yankees are probably at a disadvantage. So tonight kind of felt like it was already the rubber game that could swing the series. Tough customer in Shane Bieber on the mound. I don't feel great about Wednesday. I do think the Yankees are going to even up the series tomorrow, but they better not punt with the lineup day game after a night game on Wednesday if they want to win this series. They got off to a great start tonight. Gleyber Torres ripped a line drive, first pitch of the game, into the corner. Judge followed up with a great walk off of Bieber. That was 43 straight games on base. Rizzo smoked a line drive to right field. And then with the bases loaded, Giancarlo Stanton hit a ball that almost knocked the left field wall down or got stuck in the left field wall. Absolute missile. That made it 2-0. And you're thinking at this point, well, they're going to be all over Bieber. Sometimes they come out and they really swing the bat well off of Shane Bieber, and they knock him out early. But sometimes he settles back in, but they're almost always very aggressive against him early, and that was the case today. But today he settled back in, and he was dominating from that point forward. Stanton, though, by the way, how great has he been? One of the few bright spots today, even though he did strike out in a key situation, just continues to pummel the baseball. And a lot of people around the team have said, he might go back to that upper level of player this year. And it's looking that way. Domingo German made his second start of the season tonight. Really rough first outing. Gave up the long ball. Although he did have some good swings and misses. He had 8 strikeouts in that game. So the stuff was there. But tonight, the stuff was not there. No strikeouts. 5 walks, so the command wasn't there either. He was just laboring all night, hanger after hanger with the curveball. No command of the fastball, missing up and arm side. Like Johnny Brito a couple of days ago, constantly working from behind in the count. Every time you look up, it was 1-0 or 2-1 or 2-0. Finally, after pretty much evading any major trouble for the first few innings, 4th inning, it was pretty obvious he was done. He had 2 on, nobody out. I think he had 83 pitches at that point. And I'm screaming for Boone to come and get him. I tweeted it, get him out of the game now. Instead, he stays in there, served up a game-tying double. Then he hit the showers. Colton Brewer came in and immediately walked the bases loaded, but he actually worked out of it. He got a comebacker, and he kind of did one of those things where the pitcher, you see it all the time in MLB The Show, where you throw your glove behind you, and he knocked it down. Didn't catch it, but he knocked it down, got up and threw the ball home to get the first out. And then he got a 4-6-3 double play to get out of the inning. So nice job by Colton Brewer there. He also worked a very strong 5th inning, 8-pitch, 1-2-3 inning, and then threw a 3rd shutout inning. So pretty good night for Colton Brewer. You don't see a lot of relievers go in there and throw 3 innings. It looks like he threw 28 pitches in 3 innings. So Gleyber Torres actually began that inning with a nice play at second base, took a hit away from Ramirez. He's just great on both sides of the ball right now. Willie Calhoun picked up his first hit as a Yankee today. He was in the lineup for the first time as a Yankee, slashed one opposite field down the left field line. We saw a lot of line drives from him in spring training, and he hit the ball hard a couple of times tonight. First time was snagged, but second time picked up a base hit. Ian Hamilton came in for the bottom of the 7th and didn't have much. A couple of walks, and then sac fly by Naylor gave the Guardians the lead. Guardians brought in James Karinchak, who's one of the filthier relief pitchers in Major League Baseball. Really animated guy, wears number 99 because he worships, Ricky Vaughn from the Major League movies. Wild thing. And he gave up a leadoff triple to Gleyber Torres. Line drive to center field. Center fielder dove for it, got by him. Gleyber ended up on 3rd, but the Yankees couldn't do anything with it. Judge popped out, and then both Rizzo and Stanton struck out, leaving Torres stranded at 3rd. And that was pretty much the story of the game right there. The inability to get the big hit with runners in scoring position has been almost universally the reason why this team fails each season. And it's not great to see that it's already becoming a trend this season. It seems like every time that I'm here talking about a loss, it's because they're not getting the big hit with runners in scoring position. Bottom 8, Zunino, who kills the Yankees, just been killing the Yankees forever. He smoked one that actually did get stuck in the left field wall, got stranded at second. But Emmanuel Clase came in and slammed the door on the Yankees, ended their hopes of a comeback. And just like that, the Yankees are 6-4.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Brett Deutsch says, game was lost in the first when they only got 2 runs. There was an opportunity to get more, and they let it slip through their fingers, and it cost them. Aaron L. says, if we don't improve our batting average with runners in scoring position, we are screwed. That is the correct answer. Got to get better at hitting guys on base. Herman dropped a pop-up. That was no fun. Jeffrey Ellison says, wouldn't be surprised to hear of a Domingo IL stint. I had the same thought during the game. Typically, when a guy looks that much worse than he usually throws, you start to wonder if he's completely healthy. His stuff is just typically always there. Even if he has a rough night, he might leave a few balls out over the middle of the plate. He's not a guy who loses because he has bad stuff. He's a guy who loses when he has bad location, right? Some guys, their stuff can fluctuate. Herman typically has really good stuff, always a really good curveball. And tonight, the curveball wasn't doing anything. Maybe it was cold. It looked cold. It's Cleveland. They got that lake right there, and the cold air comes in off the lake. Maybe he just couldn't get a feel for the baseball. Bieber early on couldn't get a feel for the baseball. We saw a lot of Yankees walking guys. So maybe it was a tough night on the mound. It's hard to judge why somebody doesn't have command. But in this instance, he typically had none of it. Raleigh says, why can't we commit to Waldo as an everyday player like we've done with Volpe? I'm not the smartest, but can't understand.
Absolutely. Hey.
That is correct.
That's a great question. Look, the kid is a switch hitter who needs constant reps from both sides of the plate to stay sharp. I get that he's a utility guy and you want to move him around, but he should be playing more. He's part of the solution. And look, I like Willie Calhoun. I think he's got a nice swing. But, I just wish they would give Waldo a chance, like Raleigh says. Appreciate the comment. Parks and Young says Jimmy Cordero has been mediocre.
Absolutely. Hey.
Isai the Chef says IKF first pitch swinging double play. Yeah, IKF is bad at baseball. I mean, he did pick up a base hit tonight, so let's give him a round of applause. Let's give him a little Bronx cheer. First hit. But, hey, look, it is what it is. Epic Warrior says tomorrow we should win. Absolutely. AJ says, what do you think Boone was thinking letting Calhoun hit and not sub him out for Oswaldo? Well, Oswaldo, I don't remember him coming off the bench a lot. So it might be one of those things where you don't know what kind of pinch hitter a guy is. And, Calhoun had just smoked one into the left field gap early on, or down the left field line. So, maybe he's trying to ride the hot hand, which is something, if we had pinch hit for him and Oswaldo had struck out, we'd say, why did you pinch hit for him? The guy just hit a double. So Jonathan Vegas says already 4 games back of the Rays. Have the Rays played yet today? I'm going to look up and see the scoreboard here. Looks like they won 1-0. They are 10-0. Unbelievable. And today was against the Red Sox, who are 5-5. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. The fact that they're beating these so-called mediocre teams early on, it's not something that gives me hope. Some people were like, well, they're only beating these crummy, lousy teams. But really good teams execute really well against bad teams. And you can't take these wins away from them. They're 10-0. How many 10-win streaks do you have during the year? I mean, this is the type of thing where you can ride the momentum to a 20-3 start or something. And that's really tough to come back from. And like we said, they're executing against the teams that they're supposed to beat. That's something the Yankees don't always do. Yankees probably should have won this game. Rampage says, bring up the Martian with the great spelling.
Since when did you get so smart?
Jason Dominguez has not done much at Double-A yet so far this season. I'd give him a couple of months probably just to get some at-bats, see how he's doing. But if he's tearing it up, I absolutely would consider it. But right now, I like the idea of giving Oswaldo the left field job. I mean, it's clear that Aaron Hicks is not the guy, right? They're trying different things out there. Franchi Cordero getting more playing time in right field, seems like. Doesn't seem like they want to use him in left field. So they're taking a look at Calhoun. But mostly, I want to see Oswaldo get the mass majority of the reps out there. Parkson says, did you see the Yankee bat boy with long hair? Yeah, that was Hair Steinbrenner. No, the thing was, at most major league ballparks, the ball boy and the bat boy are they're like locals, right? They work at the stadium, so they don't usually travel with the Yankees, from what I understand. So sometimes you just get these weird looking creatures like that guy today. Let's see here. Jeffrey Ellison says, IKF isn't the issue as much as the inability to score when men are on, and we cannot generate rallies ever. We get glimpses of rallies and then gone. It does seem that way, doesn't it? It does seem like the Yankees have trouble putting together a long rally. It seems like most of the times that they win big, it's because of the home run. They'll hit either a couple of home runs or they'll hit one big 3-run home run. I would love to see them have a couple of innings where they string together 7 hits, I want to see those type of rallies once in a while. I know they're few and far between, but you miss watching the Yankees of old. The 90s Yankees were very good at that. They would just put the constant pressure on you, base hit, walk, sac fly, walk, base hit, sac fly. It's just constant. Douglas Rouse says, calling the Athletics mediocre is generous. I'm a generous guy. I'm a generous motherfucker. Says, I think the Somerset Patriots are a better team. They probably are. Before Tucson says, Joe Dirt was our bat boy today. I like it. AJ says, does Oswaldo playing last year count as a year of service time? I don't think it counts as a full year. I think he gets a percentage of a year. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on like the contract type stuff and service time issues. I rely on like other podcasts for stuff. I'm very good at breaking down, what happened in the game and, why certain guys are doing well, why certain guys are struggling. I can scout players pretty well, but in terms of like all the financials and the contracts and all that stuff, I leave that to other people to worry about. Let's see here. Dylan Poppin says, do you think they'll trade Hicks before the deadline? So they've obviously tried to trade Hicks. We had reports about it this spring. Sounds like nobody wants him. And by his performance, you can see why. I think they're hesitant to eat the money because they owe a lot of money. I think they're probably offering him and offering to eat a chunk of the money. But, if you have to pay him, you have to pay him. So they're just going to keep him on the roster until the last possible second. When Harrison Bader comes back, they're going to make a choice between outfielders. My guess is they'll send somebody down and keep Hicks on the roster. But, if Cordero and Calhoun are both performing, there's a non-zero chance that at that point they'll have to make a decision on Hicks because, you can't send him down. And Bader's going to play. Oswaldo's not going down. He's earned the job. The thing about these new guys, Cordero and Calhoun, neither one of them has much of an arm in the outfield. Just watching them throw, just not very impressed. Hicks still at least has that. Still got a pretty decent arm. If you look at the StatCast numbers, still a decent arm. Brian Mondelli says, another offensive disappointment for the Yanks. Should be used to it. Emmanuel says, I'll even take Peraza in the outfield to get him up in the bigs again. That's something the Yankees should consider. Maybe giving him some reps in the outfield just to get him used to it. I mean, you never know who can become an elite outfielder, just by trying. Oswaldo Cabrera was an infielder until they stuck him in the outfield. Now he's a great outfielder. He's much better in right. Like, it seems like every time you put him in right, he must just read the ball better out there. But also a lot more ground to cover in left field at Yankee Stadium. So I think he's a good outfielder, though. And I think he's done everything that he's been asked to do so far. Let's see here. Doug, I usually go to Doug, too, on some of this stuff. He stays pretty in tune. He says, I don't think that he's got enough service time to qualify for a full year of service time. I think I jumbled that. But, yeah, I think he's probably got like a half-year service time, essentially. I know it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio, I don't think. Let's see here. Parkson says, what is IKF's trade value? Can't imagine that he has much anymore. But he is one of those guys that can play all over the field. So I think the Yankees will keep him. He's really a third catcher in a way because he caught pretty much a whole season with the Rangers. He can play short. How many catchers can play short, right? So he can play third. He can play second if you need him to. Can play the outfield now. There's not a lot of people around Major League Baseball that can play catcher, short, and center. Maybe that does give him some trade value, but it also gives you some value to keep him on the team. I don't mind seeing IKF out there once in a while. I just don't want to see as much of him as we're seeing. I think that's, it's just a bad move to keep putting him in the lineup because he can't hit. Michael Quintero says, Waldo plays third. Yes, Waldo does play third. He can also play short for you. Volpe off to a tough start. We should talk about that. A lot of people have been very tough on Volpe. I've been preaching, give him time. I'm still preaching, give him time. He did hit one hard tonight to the warning track off of Bieber. It was kind of a hanging slider early on, hitting 129 on the season with a 444 OPS. So not too good, not too good.
Game over, man. Game over.
It's not what you want. KDM says IK frequently. That's good. I like that one.
You gotta go.
And Ronnie says, I need to know who seriously believes the Yanks are getting past the ALDS. Well, good thing is that this is not the finished product Yankees. We're still lacking Carlos Rodon. We're still lacking Harrison Bader. Luis Severino. He threw a bullpen today. So, typically when you throw a bullpen, the next step is live hitters. And from that point, you're about a month away. So what is today? April 10th. We might see early May a rotation of Cole, Cortez, Rodon, Severino, and Brito. And I'll tell you what, that's a damn fine 5 guys to run out there every 5 days. And Hirsch says they must have thought they were facing Justin Bieber. It looked like it early. All right, guys, we are going to call it a night. This was a tough one. I'm surprised anybody stayed on watching this long. This was a tough game to watch, a tough game to recap. Yankees couldn't throw strikes. Until next time, I'm out.
Hey, everybody. If you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch. Yes. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member. It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.